Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Planet Wave TV. Planet Waves TV, this is episode number 7 so far and going strong. I'm here today to talk about the Cancer ingress of the Sun, sometimes called the summer solstice up here in the northern hemisphere, or the northern solstice. That makes it really simple, and it works for both the northern and the southern hemispheres. And that means that on Sunday, on the 21st, the Sun will reach its northernmost journey along the horizon. It will seem to stop, and the days will get shorter as the Sun seems to reverse direction and go back toward the southern hemisphere. So we're about to get that major shift, that turning point in the year wherein the days begin to get shorter. Seems like they can't get longer for long enough, but at the very least, we who study the movements of these celestial bodies can notice that there is going to be a turning point, an energetic shift in the year, and that is what every solstice and every equinox brings. And it's good to kind of get your body into the act and feel that experience as it happens. So the timing on that is June 21st, Sunday at 12:37, 54 seconds, so 12:38 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Please adjust for your time zone. I'd like to show you that chart. The way that you can tell this is a chart for the summer solstice is that the Sun is at what looks to be 0 degrees and 0 arc minutes of the sign Cancer. Really, it's entered the first degree of the sign Cancer, and that means that, first of all, there's a sign change. There is a change in the quadrant of the zodiac that the Sun is in. That amounts to a seasonal change, and we can see that things are on the move. Now, with Mars right there. Now notice that. See Mr. Mars right there? See that? Mars? Mars has been traveling in a slow conjunction with the Sun. That was exact this past Sunday. I forget the date. I think it was maybe the 14th. And the Sun and Mars are traveling at about the same apparent speed, and that's creating an extended conjunction of Mars and the Sun. That is a lot of energy. I think there will be a somewhat more relaxed sensation, a little bit less tension in the air once the Sun enters Cancer and then Mars enters the sign Cancer. The water signs do have a tendency to cool things off, and we could use a little bit of cooling off, at least mentally, because there's been a lot of mental drive in the sky in recent days and recent weeks, and actually going back quite a distance before that. This is an interesting chart for a few other reasons. One of them is that Mercury, right there, Mr. Mercury, which was just retrograde and is now still working its way through a square to Neptune in Pisces, not really on this chart, so I just drew it in woodless pencil. That square will be exact on June 23rd. So a couple of days after the summer solstice, there is an exact square, the last of 3 exact squares for the cycle between Mercury and Neptune. And if there is one feeling that is dominating the sky right now, if there's one thing that is the what is going on around here factor, that would be Mercury square Neptune. It is this extended quest to sort out what is true and what is not. It's very difficult to get a grip on reality with Mercury in an extended square to Neptune. As I've said a couple of times, it's pretty rare to have this Mercury square Neptune thing last so long, but one of the reasons it's lasting so long is that the Mercury retrograde basically worked its way back to and ended with this square, and so now the square is hanging out for weeks, and it will be past this exact phase on the 23rd. It's still going to be in effect for a while. Mercury will then work its way forward in the sign Gemini, and the second shadow phase of the most recent Mercury retrograde will end on 6/27. So that seems like a fairly short second shadow phase. And with any grace, some of this confusion, this mental slipperiness that we're experiencing, this difficulty understanding the difference between what is true and what is not, what is fact and what is fiction, will come to a gradual end as this aspect culminates and passes by. Until then, you need to check your facts, you need to be clear in communications, you need to make sure that you are connecting your true feelings, your true opinions to the words that you speak. And I think most of all, under this astrology, make sure that you leave room for revision. The entire Mercury retrograde process is one that is all about revision, meaning editing, rewriting, rethinking, reconceiving, and you might say, rethinking your ideas. And with Mercury square Neptune, it's almost like as you build those ideas up, it's almost like it's raining on the salt castle, and the ideas are melting away, and you build it up, and it melts away, and it takes a lot of traction and grip and mental clarity to hold one's focus during this kind of really interesting Mercury square Neptune pattern. I don't remember ever seeing a Mercury square Neptune pattern quite like this, and certainly there has not been one with Neptune in Pisces, one of the most watery, slippery, liquid signs of all. And so it is not making it easy to be focused and to keep thinking straight. In fact, I've had to start this video 3 times in the course of all 7 episodes of Planet Waves TV. I have not had to do that. Okay, so let's look at a couple of other things here. One of them is this conjunction forming there, Venus, Jupiter. Venus is going that way. It's heading toward Virgo, where Venus is going to station retrograde on July 25th. But before it does that, it is going to make a spectacular, magnificent conjunction to Jupiter in Leo. And I don't have the exact date of that. I guess I can look it up, but this ephemeris, the text is very small here. Here how small that is. And Grandpa would have to get his magnifying glass and look at that. It's coming up soon. I'll key it next week and talk about it shortly. A few other bits going on. I think perhaps one of the other things that involves the what is it factor of like what is it distinct that's so interesting and maybe strange about this time of astrology is that Saturn has begun its last 90 days in Scorpio. So Saturn entered Scorpio this week. It's going to remain in Scorpio for about 3 months and then make its final ingress into Sagittarius. Now, what is that happened? Saturn has been in Scorpio for 2 years. It dipped its way into Sagittarius for a few months. Now it's going to go back into Scorpio. It's going to stay in Scorpio for 3 months, and then it will be in Sagittarius from late 2015 through late 2017. So that's going to kind of officially begin in 3 months the run of Saturn through Sagittarius. We got a little warm up in the spring. Now we're getting a throwback to the Saturn in Scorpio phase. And what does that mean? That is a reminder to go back and to resolve, to be emotionally clear, to resolve issues of a financial nature, of a sexual nature, things handled by Scorpio, things that might be of an intense or life and death nature. The opportunity presented by Saturn retrograding back into Scorpio for one last visit reminds me of extra time granted to tie up unresolved loose ends that from material that we've been processing, working through, experiencing, and exploring for the last 2 years, and now we're getting one last visit back to that. And I'm sure you will have ideas what that might be. That you might have some great ways of how to phrase and explain that, but it seems like an opportunity to tie up the loose ends and to clear up the karma and to have a kind of a review period of the last 2 years in your life, to consider what you've been through, how you've grown, and particularly on the two really, let's say 3 issues that Scorpio is the most effective at covering, one of which is sex, one of which is money, and one of which is commitment. So this is coming. A few other housekeeping bits. I am teaching a class on Saturday morning. The class is on retrograde planets, and I will put a link to that class obviously up on the homepage of planetwaves.net, and you can also learn more about that class by writing to me at efc@ericfrancis.com. I like to teach astrology, and I'm doing more teaching astrology. I believe this is my 3rd class of the year. That may be a record for Planet Waves, and it is the miracle of the internet that allows us to do this. Currently, these are audio classes. I would like to get into doing them by video conference, and we will get that going soon enough. Also, I'll have a birthday reading for those born under the sign Cancer. I'm planning on doing that next week. And that is what I have got for you. Thanks for tuning in to Planet Waves FM. Don't miss Planet Waves TV. Don't miss Planet Waves FM. Two spectacular editions of Planet Waves FM this week. One interview with Andrew McLuhan, the grandson of Marshall McLuhan, and another with Eric McLuhan, the son of Marshall McLuhan. Two extended interviews on the impact and the influence of the digital environment. If you're curious about this whole digital environment that allows me to set up shop here in the Outdated Cafe and do a little TV show and send it out to you, is a broad, far-reaching subject, and both of the McLuhans, Eric and Andrew, are offering some profound insights into what this is about. So check that out. Once again, thanks for watching Planet Waves TV. Thanks for being a subscriber to Planet Waves, and I look forward to seeing you once again next week. Bye for now. Push the button.